So I want to talk about the Bitcoin energy consumption. This is something I've been discussing with my friend Joe, and we both agree that Bitcoin spends a lot of electricity, but I don't think we agree on the use case and the utility behind it. Okay, now my arguments are: is there anything that you do in this life that it's important that doesn't spend electricity? Look, if you have a house, if you live under a roof, to build that house, there is a lot of electricity and energy involved to build the materials, to build the house. If you have a car, please don't own a car, really. To build a car, you need tons of energy. And then the car is also going to spend a lot of energy. Like I'm sure that if you put all the Teslas in the world together, they spend probably more energy than the Bitcoin network. And people are not saying like, oh, let's stop using Tesla. Because there is an utility, there is a value in having transportation. In the same way, there is value in transacting. Any transaction that you do nowadays, it spends energy. If I pay with a credit card, if I do a bank transfer, if I grab a piece of gold and give to another person, all this spends a lot of electricity, okay? Traditional financial system spends tons of energy. And maybe traditional financial system is more energy efficient than Bitcoin when we are talking about small transactions. I go and pay coffee or pay for lunch with my card. Yeah, for this, the traditional financial system is probably more efficient than Bitcoin. Although there are other blockchains like Dogecoin that are very efficient to do small payments, and even other blockchains like proof of stake blockchains. But let's go back to the traditional financial system. However, like if I want to make a big transaction, I want to make a $10 million transaction, a $100 million transaction, or I want to leave my country with my Bitcoin password, Bitcoin wallet password inside my brain, instead of carrying a bag of gold with me. There is nothing that can replace Bitcoin, and there is nothing more efficient than the Bitcoin network for this. I'm sure that to settle a transaction in a traditional financial system, like a $10 million transaction, it spends more energy in the traditional financial system because you need to have buildings, employees, a ton of computers and data centers and ATMs that are running 24 hours per day. And you need to have a huge infrastructure. While in the Bitcoin network, to do a $10,000 transaction, a $10 million transaction, you don't need more energy for that, okay? And I'm sure that for big transactions, the Bitcoin network is way more efficient than traditional financial system. And that's the objective of the Bitcoin network anyway, is to be a layer one financial system, a layer one transaction layer that allow people to transact between each other with a very high degree of confidence and trust. Because I know that if I send $1 million to someone on the Bitcoin network, that $1 million is for sure going to arrive. Now, let me just a bit, I need to go do some squats. And there is something in the blockchain world that people called the blockchain trilemma. So there are three variables, and you always need to choose trade-offs between these three variables: scalability, cost, and decentralization. No, wait, scalability, decentralization, and security. That's correct. Scalability, decentralization, and security. You can never have the three at the same time, okay? So yeah, for me, one of the main things of the Bitcoin blockchain and other blockchains is that they come to liberate people from centralized parties. And decentralized parties, they spend way more energy, okay? Way more energy. So I don't think that's the main issue there. If you don't want to use Bitcoin because it spends a lot of energy, then you should stop having a bank account. You should close your bank account because your bank spends more energy than the Bitcoin miner. I think it's as simple as that. I hope that those people that criticize Bitcoin for energy consumption, they close their bank account. There is another argument in favor of Bitcoin, which is Bitcoin. Most of the miners, I don't know exactly the percentage. I heard like 70%. Is it possible? I don't know. To be honest, I cannot be extremely accurate regarding the figure here. But what is said is that a big percentage of miners, they use renewable energies to mine Bitcoin, because to mine Bitcoin you need very cheap electricity. Bitcoin is only feasible to mine or to have a profit if you have if you have access to electricity cheaper than 10 cents of a dollar per kilowatt, and of course cheaper the electricity, more revenue you can have. Now miners try to have electricity between 2 to 5 cents per kilowatt, and you can only have this with renewable energies. Now what Bitcoiners say is that the Bitcoin industry is actually bringing a lot of advancement to the renewable energy, and it's funding the renewable energy, giving the renewables energy a boost. Bitcoin miners are paying to have renewable energy, and it's actually feeding a lot this renewable energy industry and fueling the advancements in the renewable energy. Because fossil fuel energy, it's way more expensive. A big percentage of Bitcoin miners are in China, maybe 40 to 50%, and most of them, I think 50% at least of those miners in China, they use hydroelectric, which is environmentally friendly. Others use energy from power plants that generate energy from coal, which is not environmentally friendly. And yeah, that's an issue. And I hope over time it's going to be solved and we can tackle that problem. But most of the miners worldwide use renewable green energies to mine Bitcoin and to keep the network secure. I also saw some figures showing the world energy consumption, and to be honest, like, people once say that Bitcoin is harming the environment. It's like a bit of a stretch, because the Bitcoin network is spending like, I don't know, 0.1% of the energy worldwide. I don't have the numbers now because I'm at the gym, but you can do the research. Really don't listen to me. Just close down this YouTube video and do the research. And do the research also on how much electricity is gold mining spending, how many electricity are banks spending, the financial system, how many electricity and fuel and energy cars spend, how many energy does the housing industry spend, how many energy, like everything that we do spend. I think what we need to understand is the value that these things are bringing us, instead of just attacking the energy consumption. Because if you want to attack the Bitcoin energy consumption, then first attack the financial system energy consumption and close your bank account, and then we can talk about Bitcoin energy consumption. So yeah, I think to be honest, I think the all the thing around the Bitcoin energy consumption is just journalists that don't have better things to write about. or someone that is trying to get an escape code.